This week's Nifty Gifties on F5 Live Refreshing Technology is proudly powered by the Microsoft Store. Whether you're looking for a new laptop, tablet, Xbox, games, or a whole lot more, you can get them at the Microsoft Store. Remember, current students, faculty, parents, and active military can save up to 10% off almost everything. To browse the products and learn more about the discounts, you can go to f5live.tv/Microsoft. Well, it's that time of year. Apple's newest version of iOS is close at hand. It's July. Usually the new phones come out in September and the new iOS comes out at the same time. But we have a public beta out now. It's a little earlier than I think we're used to seeing. And Apple has changed the way you can get the beta. You don't have to go download a provisioning profile and all the stuff you usually have to do. If you go into Settings, General, Software Update, and Betas, you can say Public Beta, hit the back button, and it'll let you install it. It's a really easy process, and there's some interesting new stuff in iOS 7. Nothing earth-shattering, right? This isn't an exponential release. It's a incremental release, but there are a couple of cool things. From a practical standpoint, I cannot believe it is 2023 and I'm having to say this out loud. From a practical standpoint, the most important thing is Apple Maps now has offline mapping. Now, I had a flip phone 18 years ago that had offline mapping, so I don't know why this would be a new and exciting thing, but Apple's getting it now in Apple Maps. All the other maps, here and Google, and they all have it already on iPhone. But if you like the Apple Maps, because you like it to show you and tell you where the stop signs and traffic lights are, you can now do it offline. Why is that important? Because we have deserts, for example. You can drive through parts of the country on what we called last summer the Great American Road Trip. We ended up 4 or 5 times in places where we had no cellular service. And so Apple Maps was completely useless. We either used the Here We Go or Waze, but Waze is a lot of online stuff too. Here is the way we tend to go for offline stuff. It's the old Nokia Maps. I'm, super familiar with it. It's got all the offline stuff, and it works with CarPlay, so that was our go-to in offline mode. But Apple finally has offline mode. Hooray! It's not a new feature, just new to them. The last feature that they have finally stolen from WebOS, I don't believe there are any left, because they've already stolen the notification system and a couple other things. They literally hired the development team from WebOS that designed the notification system at Apple so that they could design the notification system for iOS. So it literally is a direct, almost a direct theft. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. WebOS is gone. Who cares? But the last thing was called exhibition mode on the Pre and the touchpad. And it is now called standby mode on iOS 17. If you put your phone down in horizontal mode on a Qi charger, it goes into a mode where it'll show you information while it's charging, kind of like an alarm clock, right? It can have time, it can have calendar, it can have notifications, it can even have pictures. Unfortunately, it's important to remember that this is a beta, and there can be and will be issues. Right now, the issue that I have been experiencing, I've been running a 17 beta for a couple weeks now, is that if you set it to show you photos, it'll ask you to unlock your phone. And when you unlock your phone, you come out of standby mode, and it doesn't matter anymore. So, good job, guys. But there's a lot of things that I really like. I like that, it shows the time and calendar and stuff all in white, and then after it gets past a certain time or you've put your phone into sleep mode, the text all goes red, so it's not a light that will keep you awake. It's a pretty cool feature. I am annoyed that as of the last time I checked, there still was not a digital clock option. You could only do an analog clock on a digital screen, which is its own version of infuriating. But again, still in beta. More stuff will inevitably come. Plus, there's widgets, so that's possible too. There's also messaging enhancements. In particular, I like the idea that there's a... We've all been leaving somewhere and somebody says, please text me when you get home so I know you're safe. For me, it was last night when we were leaving Amrock. Terry said it to me, and I got home, didn't text her immediately, and she sent me a message, hey, you home yet? Because inevitably
my mom does that
forget.
all the time.
Right?
Yeah.
You can have it automatically check in when you get home and let the people that want a check-in know when you've gotten home. Great idea. For if you're a human, you forget. We all do it. We all forget. So
Now, if
like
someone if someone is going to kidnap you, or kill you, and they don't want to raise suspicion, they should probably drive by your house with the phone, before too long.
Yeah, accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll do that even if you don't unlock the phone, right? So, like, even if even if you're a murderer or kidnapper doesn't have your phone password, or can't use your face ID to unlock it, because maybe your face doesn't look right after you've been murdered or whatever, like, they or the blindfold or whatever doesn't, then they can, then they should drive by your house. I mean, I'm just thinking that, like, the fact that they've automated this kind of also creates like it in a way. It's like, oh, it also sort of creates a way for a murderer to get away with it, because, like, hey, he texted you.
I'm gonna run tests on this tomorrow, or possibly tonight,
right,
because now there's a fun thing that I feel like I need to test. I might not sleep tonight.
Well, don't kill anyone on my account just to test it. Well, also, you'd have to kill someone who had the beta installed and had that feature set up.
True.
And you'd have to know where they live.
That's true.
But so
chat's laughing at you right now, Abram. They're loving this diversion.
But I'm sorry. Listen,
But yeah, if that's the way it works, you're absolutely right. That's a problem. It seems like maybe what happened. I haven't tested it. I'm gonna have to run this and see. Maybe it comes up and says, "Do you want to check in?" I don't know. We're gonna have to see. I would just like to point out, I keep forgetting what side contextually. It's over there for. Doesn't matter. It's over there for me. Tech Tweaker says, I have a particular set of circumstances and features. Has taken.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to test that, because that's a huge. You're right. That's a huge problem in the concept. I'm hoping that it comes up and says, "Hey, do you want to check in?"
Yeah,
it doesn't check in automatically.
Mind you, if I were Apple and you asked me this, like, "Oh, don't you think it's going to provide, I don't know, some confusion if someone murders or kidnaps you and then drives by your house with the phone?" They're probably going to say, A, that's not a hugely likely scenario. That's not a very common scenario. And B, it's even less common, because if someone was, going to do that to you, they may not know where you live. They may not know this is configured. And so, the chance of their driving by your house and doing so within a reasonable period of time that doesn't raise suspicion is, not likely. You'd have to, you'd have to know the person know the person's situation pretty well to do that. But if it became a commonplace thing, I mean, I guess, they look at your driver's license and sort of,
there's also this possibility. Hold on. Hey Siri, take me home. I want to see if it'll open navigation without me having to unlock the phone. Absolutely.
Oh, so that's a security flaw right there, because then someone, if you lost your phone, then they could find out where you live. No?
Yeah. 100%. I kept
I
my
mean,
finger I
you could
kept my
argue that
finger
that
over
would
the
be a good way
camera
to
the whole
return the
time.
phone to someone, but
That's
yeah,
fascinating.
yeah, the one that you showed later is a much bigger security hole
Yeah, it
than
is.
that.
Yeah, it is.
So, um, it's much more likely that someone would have access to your phone for a moment while you're not looking, ask it that, and then write down your address.
Yeah.
Then,
And
yeah,
then that's a way worse situation. Um,
yes.
Ch- Chat has said, "Geez, Abram gets murdery when he's tired."
Listen, I should just tell you guys, I don't live that close to him, but you may have heard on the news that I live on Long Island, New York, and they just caught the alleged Long Island serial killer on Friday. So
Hmm.
I do have serial killer on the brain. Um,
Fair enough.
was
I
just discussing,
I did see that.
yeah, yeah, was just discussing it over dinner with my family.
Oh,
But
that
the
that wasn't
the
a
kids
strange
loved it.
sentence at
No,
all.
no, no. You know, it's like, did you hear what he did? Anyway,
Yeah.
that's that. But yeah, that. So I mean, there's definitely privacy implications for some of these things, but on the other hand, it's good. Now, is there a way of having it text someone your current location
Yes.
periodically,
Absolutely.
or
So one of the
yeah,
cool things is I can actually send, like, I could text you, uh, with a essentially a time bomb on it, right? Or not, um, a tracker for my device. So I can say, Avram can keep track of where I am for the next 60 minutes. And then after that, it time bombs and it goes away. If it's an iPhone, the whole message disappears, I think, out of iMessage. And if it goes to Android, I don't know how that works. But you can time bomb the thing, or you can make it perpetual until you actively say that's enough. So you could give access to a significant other that can always check up on you and then revoke it if that relationship ends.
yeah, yeah. I mean, my mother is just a big nag whenever we're about to go to whenever we're driving to her house, which is like an hour and a half drive. Like two or three times she'll call us, be like, "Where are you now?" And I'd be like, "Well, I'm on the bridge." Uh, wow, you must be hitting a lot of traffic. So do you think you'll be here in like 20 minutes? I kind of I kind of want to put I kind of now we were both on Android. I kind of want to have something that's just like, here, you want to know where I am now? Here's where I am now, okay? I mean, not every minute of the day, just like when I'm on my way to her house, so I don't have to hear about it.
Right, exactly. So in that case, you send one of the time bomb ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be
And
good. That would
and
be good.
Tech Tweaker in the chat says this was the exact same problem with programming home into your car GPS or into a Garmin, or you can just grab the registration out of the glove box.
Yes, well, that you had to break into someone's car, which I think
Yeah,
is a little. I don't know. I mean, that's a different security vector than like somebody left their phone and went to the bathroom, or I don't know,
true.
something like
Or
that.
it fell out of a pocket or
Uh,
whatever. Your
yeah,
car doesn't fall out of your pocket unless it's Hot Wheels or something.
yeah,
But
yeah. It's a little bit more of a
an
challenge to
easier
break.
an easier
Yeah,
invasion on the phone.
an easier invasion on the phone for sure.
Whoops,
But
I dropped my
hey,
Mercedes. That's
yeah, But yeah, I mean, look, we're all definitely living in a time where it's very easy to get someone's. Well, I don't know about it's very easy to get someone's information. It might have been easier in the past. We had white pages, right?
True.
Um, so you know, I wouldn't say it's very easy to get someone's information, but I guess you can if you work hard enough at it. Um,
Yeah.
you know, but
and and
whatever.
so many people share that kind of stuff on Facebook or Twitter or maybe Threads or Foursquare. I don't
I
think people
saw
use
an
Foursquare
abs-
anymore, but you know what I mean.
I saw an absolutely frightening commercial that from a German telecom that someone posted on Twitter today, that uh, about how you shouldn't post pictures or videos of your children online,
Hmm.
uh, not for the reason that you might think, like not for like pedophiles or things like that, but because they someone can take their image with AI and do all kinds of crazy stuff with it. And even like, even when they get older, make an aged version of it. And then the aged version can be used for identity theft and all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, and what they did is, I don't, this almost seems like they faked it, but this is the commercial. They had a family that likes to share videos of their little girl online, and they brought them to a movie theater, and they thought they were watching a movie, and they played them like a 2 minute thing where they had a digital clone of their daughter who had been aged up to adulthood, even though their daughter is like probably like 6 or 7, and and the digital clone was like talking to them and was like, because you put my picture online, now you see all the things that have happened to me. I've been arrested because somebody pretended to be me, made a fake ID with my face. My credit's been stolen. People have been used my face and my voice to like try to scam you out of money, like all kinds of crazy stuff. So
Yeah, that's an interesting, like, especially as we're getting, and we're not going to talk about this in the Pilch Point tonight, but
yeah,
as
sorry,
as
that's
as
AI in
no,
somewhere.
but like as AI stuff has gotten, more uh detailed, it's made all of this stuff more possible. That's a fascinating take on it. In other iOS 17, in the messaging app, there's a new menu. So there used to be all the little buttons that took up real estate, and now there's a little plus button that doesn't really take up any real estate that opens a weird menu that doesn't exist anywhere else in iOS. And I'm worried it's going to confuse some people. But it's a much better interface. So good on them for that. My favorite, like, kind of nothing feature is these contact posters. You can design up what you look like what you want the world to see. So a picture and text and font and colors and all this, and other iPhones when you call them, if you've shared the contact, will ring with that, uh, you know, with that text and that picture, and it's really an interesting thing. It does mean that the call screen has changed and the buttons aren't in the same place. Um, it's interesting. I have definitely hung up on calls that I didn't mean to, that I think I was trying to change to my headset on because the buttons are all in different places. But overall, a pretty cool feature. I haven't gotten to explore it a whole lot because not enough people have the iOS 17 public beta installed yet. But here are my warnings on it. If you are doing Amazon Flex, don't install it. That app is being held together with chewing gum and crossed fingers. And so I wouldn't trust doing a beta install of the OS. If you're doing it on iOS, it doesn't work seemingly at all on Android. If you have any mission critical software that you've ever felt was a little questionable, don't install this. It's not worth it. Let the developers get their their stuff worked out before doing anything. If you have an additional device, you can try it on that. If you're worried about mission critical stuff, I've got phones everywhere. I'm not running the 17 beta on anything that's mission critical for that reason. But if you want to give it a try, you can easily go into settings, general, software updates, betas, and turn it on. It takes about 10 minutes and you are good to go. So if you give it a shot and want to give us your feedback, we'd love to hear what your experiences are. Definitely hit us up on social media or comment on this video if you're on YouTube or Facebook or Rumble or wherever you might find this. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of F5 Live Refreshing Technology. If you did, please subscribe to the channel down below, and of course hit the notification bell because we know that subscriptions don't mean much on YouTube anymore. If you've got topics that you'd like us to talk about in the future, please comment them down below. And if you'd like to not follow us on YouTube, there's lots of ways that you can follow along with our content by going to PLUGHITZlive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows and all of the ways that you can watch, listen, and follow along.